the game balls. And I sat down and wanted to do my best to really highlight the players who I felt, game balls, you can give a game ball to a lot of people. And LT Overton just missed out. I thought he did a really good job. But here, I picked 6 guys, and I'll go over each of them. If there's not a guy on here that I didn't list, it is what it is. We'll get them some other point in time. But here was I'm going to provide my game balls and then some rationale why I picked these guys. Okay. And if I have a misspelling, I'll go ahead and fix it inside the comment box as well. But when I look to, let me see if I have. So let's start on the left and look at Jalen Milroe. In only 34 snaps, he had 5 touchdowns. He has a Pro Football Focus grade of 80. His deep ball, he has a Pro Football Focus grade of 95. We'll dive into that in just a second. And we'll go into Jalen Milroe. And I know we didn't have a lot of a snapshot of what he did, but let me ask you, when you look to Jalen Milroe and the limited opportunities that we got to see from him, one thing that really impressed me, his deep ball, did I know it was going to be there? Of course. He picked up from last year. But how refreshing was it to see when he took the ball and ran for 40 yards? Like, nobody was opened, and it wasn't just like he flew out. Man, that was really impressive to me. And I felt like he was handcuffed last year, or he just didn't want to. I don't know. No Cap is saying Jalen didn't look good. Ty was better. I disagree with that. I think that Ty, he did look good, but Jalen Milroe looked really good to me. But I appreciate the feedback, No Cap. Only 34 snaps and he comes up with 5 touchdowns. Imagine when he has 50 snaps, 60. Robert Hill, what's up, man? See you inside the comment box. Light work, only threw the ball 9 times. And again, we'll do a deep dive into Jalen Milroe here in a few minutes. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for being here on the show. I also gave a game ball to Justice Haynes. I didn't know who to give it to, like him or Jam Miller. What it came down to was because of the fact that, like, he had that 85-yard touchdown run. I mean, Jam Miller, Justin, I think you're going to rotate game balls throughout the entire season. He had a grade of 74.4. The best clip was on SportsCenter when the security guard was just like waving him in like a third base coach, right? He's just like, come on down. Do you see that? That was amazing. I said this yesterday in my Sunday segment. I feel there's a lot of really good quarterbacks in college football this year, right? Every year. But I don't think there's a lot of programs that have an elite tandem at running back. And that's what I think will be able to really carry Alabama when they get in some of these bigger games in the back end of the season. Now, Western Kentucky, they did a pretty good job stuffing up Richard Young. But Daniel Hill looked good, and so did Kevin Riley. Hey, Christian, I appreciate you for being here. Thank you so much. We're talking game balls right now. After this, we'll go into Pro Football Focus grades. But to have just 10 snaps and get 102 yards is crazy. Next up for the game balls is Ryan Williams. Is this real life? Or is this a video game player? You're telling me he had 19 snaps, 139 yards. His very first catch. Like, you can't write this stuff. His very first catch is a 80-plus yard touchdown. Like, and he's been doing this all fall camp, by the way. He's been slicing up the defense. Obviously, the secondary looked good against Western Kentucky. TJ Finley was not it, clearly. You're going to face a better quarterback this coming week. But Ryan Williams has been doing this to everybody. Hey, by the way, I just saw Will, wow, Bill, you're coming in a little bit late. The update on Caden Proctor is it looks to be week to week. Now, that's not official. That's from Alex Scarborough of 24/7 Sports. I think they have an update. I haven't seen an official update. We'll carry you all the way to 12 p.m. to Coach Kalen DeBoer, and I guarantee you that'll be the first question somebody asks Coach is about Caden Proctor. So no official word, but it looks like a week-to-week deal. If you missed it and you're like, Caden Proctor's hurt, yes. He didn't even practice, or he didn't even play in the game against Western Kentucky. He got hurt in warm-ups, and he was in a sling. Talking about game balls right now, we'll go into Pro Football Focus grades in just a minute. What were you thinking when Ryan Williams what were you thinking when he caught that touchdown? What was amazing to me is when the TV zoomed to him, he was about 15 yards behind the corner. And the ball was thrown right on the money, in stride. Like that was crazy. Has there ever been a 17-year-old? He's got to be the first 17-year-old to score a touchdown here. Did anyone write that? Is he? Yeah, no hat for Memorial Day. Labor Day. And then the second catch that he had, Jalen Milroe stays in the pocket, right? He's looking. He's able to find Ryan Williams. Ryan Williams goes across, said it was a post route, right? You saw the interview. He catches it. He's able to make a play and then run after the catch for another touchdown. I was like, are you serious? Like, the legend is crazy, right? Because we love freshmen here at Alabama, right? Like, we can't wait to hype them up because they're like 5 stars, 4 stars. It's always going to be like that. It's been like that. And sometimes, like look at Keon Keeley. Look what we're doing, right? We're like, man, why isn't he playing? Sometimes it just takes a couple seasons, roster spots, whatever, right? Michael Coleman's not surprised at all, right? Michael Coleman sent me this clip of Ryan Williams when he was like, I don't know, like 7 years old returning a punt for a touchdown. Was that a punt? I figured, look, you want to know something? Okay. I'll show you something. I'll try to bring it up on the screen. I felt good. I've been talking Alabama football. I felt good about the team. So I went ahead and did DraftKings, okay, where you pick your players. Look, gamble responsibly. I just do Alabama because I follow them. I put Ryan Williams in my roster. See if you can see that. I won a nice $600, okay? 600. Play a little bit of fantasy football. My lineup looked like this. I figured the game plan. So I had Jalen Milroe as my captain, Justice Haynes, Jan Miller, Richard Young, Johnson from Western Kentucky, because you got to pick one of the players, and then I put Ryan Williams, who had, by the way, 30 fantasy points. Okay? Yeah, so it's a nice little score. But when you know the game plan, right? I mean, we talk this every single day. It'd be almost ridiculous that, you don't have – now, coming into this next game, it'll be interesting to see what the game plan is because South Florida, they're a better team than Western Kentucky. And I'm not trying to scare you about, this and that. They're a good team. They were a good team last year. Alex Gosh is a good coach. They got a really good quarterback. He's a problem. He had 276 yards last week, 200 yards passing, 76 yards rushing. We continue on the game balls. We're going to talk about player grades in just a second. And then we'll go to Jalen Milroe, and then I'll take your calls. We'll play Monday morning. When you call in, let's play Monday morning quarterback. That means talking about like what we learned, this and that. Oh, yeah, what was it like not to have Eli calling the game? Do you guys like Chris Stewart? Seems like Chris Stewart, everybody likes Chris Stewart. I mean, it's, change is different. I love seeing Coach Saban in the stands. That made me happy. Terran Arnold was there. They were posted up in the box. That was cool. He was 5 years old in that video? Oh, my God. Oh, man. I'll show that sometime, Michael, if that's cool with you. All right, let's talk about defensive game balls. Look, Deontay Lawson had a really good game as well. I didn't know who to choose from. I picked Jaha Campbell because he had a higher grade, just slightly ahead of Deontay Lawson. Each of those guys combined for 18 tackles. Jaha Campbell, who wasn't, look, this defense, did it seem like this defense was faster to you? I get it, it's Western Kentucky. Just looking at the physical play of the players and the speed, did it seem like they were faster? It seemed like they were faster to me. It seemed like Jaha Campbell, I think Cole Kubelik tweeted out, or was it Clint Lamb? One of the two put some footage out on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Jaha Campbell running to the sideline. It was unbelievable. The chase down speed, the defense was fast. Right? A real nobody. Agree. They were fast. The swarm defense, that was swarming. The swarm defense is about getting to the quarterback, which they did in the first quarter. Remember when Q Rob came around the edge and was able to get to TJ Finley? What happened in the first quarter? 2 interceptions. We're going to talk about Keon Sabb in just a second. But the defense was flying, and there was a lot of rotation. When I show you the pro football grades coming up in the snap counts, you'll see how many players got to play. Now, Jaha Campbell played in a lot of snaps. 46 snaps, 9 tackles, a grade of 85.8. And when you look at the Pro Football Focus grades, the thing you have to think about the grades is their grading system from what you read, like an 80 is really like an A in school. A 70 would be a B. It doesn't match up specifically with grading. And if you get a player who's in the 90s and anything, that's like elite. So there's so think of the 80s as A's in school, and then anything in the 90s is like exceptional elite. I appreciate you guys for being here. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. I'll continue with the grades in just 1 second right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Thank you very much for joining me today. I appreciate you guys for being here. Please remember to hit that thumbs up button. It really helps me. Trying to get to. And I do a lot of multitasking. So if I pause or something like that, I do all the editing myself on the show. I actually had T up in the house for game day, which was really helpful. So I appreciate that. All right, let's continue with game balls. How about the play of Quay Russo? Who was impressed with him? He's literally like a trending topic right now. He had 30 snaps, 4 tackles. I feel bad because I didn't put LT Overton on, but I had to go with Quay. I felt that he was just everywhere. And he's a player because, we're hyping up Keanu Coe. Not to say that he didn't do well, because he did well and so did Q Rob. But Quay at that wolf position, whew, man. And LT at the bandit, hey, Simpson, we'll talk about Kendrick Law for sure. Yeah, that 22-yard touchdown. Yeah, it was good to see him fed, to be honest, right? It's about, and they used him as well in a jet sweep, and we'll show the snap count of those wide receivers. It was good to see a lot of those guys get some reps. Like Emmanuel Henderson played in a lot of snaps. He caught a pass. We'll do a freshman report as well when we talk about Caleb Odom. He played in a lot of snaps as well. Kobe Prentice had a really high grade as well. We didn't talk about him much, but he did it for Alabama on Saturday. Who was impressed with Q Rob? Can you type in Q if you were? Surely I'm not the only one that saw that. I've seen it everywhere. Heath is saying Rusaw is very quick and can move. Man, it was. Thanks, man. I 100% agree. And the thing about Quay Russo is he's big. He's I have to look up how much he weighs. Must be, what, 240? Yeah, see? Man. Yeah, everybody's hitting up Q. Happy Labor Day. I appreciate you guys. Yeah, if you're at the cookouts, if you're hanging out, I appreciate you guys for stopping in. Coming up at 11:30, you have Nick Sheridan and Kane Womack. They'll be here with the Alabama Crimson Tide. And then at 12 p.m., you'll have Coach Kalen DeBoer's press conference. So on Monday going forward, I'm going to start my show at 10 to be able to go through. Now, I'm not afraid of work. It makes more sense. I feel the subscribers. 3-hour show is a long time. I know you guys are with me during the whole game, which I really appreciate. But I think it'll work out. So I'm always trying different things. I'm responsible for running the channel and stuff like that. So I appreciate you. Coming up here in a little while, I'll take your calls too. I appreciate you being here, Chris from New Jersey, and Kevin. What's up, man? How's your shoulder? See, I get to know you guys too. I know, like Kevin, he's a battle warrior. And he's doing some rehab on his, I think it's his shoulder, man. So I hope you're doing well. Jarvis, what's up, man? I see you as well, man. All right, the last player we'll talk about on our game balls is Keon Sabb. You talk about transfers who come in and make an instant impact. How about him? He came in and you have 2 interceptions in the first quarter. The first one is dope. I even had to bust out the turnover chain. A real nobody. LT didn't get a game ball because Western Kentucky was running away from him every single play. The dude has serious nose for the ball before everyone else. And that's what even Chris from New Jersey said about Damani Jackson. And we'll look at the grades and how many times these guys were targeted. But, if they're not getting talked about, it's probably because they're going in another direction. There was a lot of people during the watch-along that were just hyping up LT Overton and the continued play of him. No, it's good. It's good to see. That chain was funny. Yeah, I know. And I need to fix the audio because it was louder than, the turnover graphic was louder than me. So I'm trying to fix all that stuff. All right, Kevin. Good luck, man. My shoulder's bothering me a little bit too, to be honest. All right. So that's game balls, and you can see the grades on each of those guys. Remember, the grades in the 80s are more like A's, and the grades that are in the 70s are more like B's. That's just the grading system for Pro Football Focus. Yo, Keon Sabb looked nice. I thought he was going to take that second pick to the house. I couldn't, because the way the TV shows it, it doesn't show the full screen, right? I didn't know, I thought he was taking it to the house. I don't know. Caitlin's up in the house. What's up? So is Chance. So is Byron. Byron is saying Sabb greater than Downs. Man, 2 picks, first game. Was he on pace if Alabama plays, 16 games? You have over 30 interceptions? All right, let's look at the freshman standouts. And I should have put their grades. I'll go up and have their grades listed so we can see that tomorrow. And I'll show the grades in just a minute. We're rolling through a couple different details following the game in week 1. Yeah, Texas and Michigan. That's going to be a great game in week 2. But other than that, there's not a lot of good games on the slate. I was kind of looking through it. That's where game day is going to be. Coach Saban's going up to Ann Arbor for that one. All right, here's the freshman report, and we'll look at the snap counts in just a second after this graphic, in fact. So when we go full screen, you look at Ryan Williams, who had 139 yards and 2 touchdowns. Red Morgan, just the overall play. You're not going to catch a pass on him. And if you do, look, he got the pass interference. I like that pass interference call, to be honest. Don't let them catch the ball, period. Jalen Mbakwe, how about him in coverage? See, a real nobody. I get it. Yeah, the ESPN, it seemed like the TVs were too tight. I couldn't see the whole field. Daniel Hill looked good with the opportunities that he had. Remember, he was a little bit banged up in fall camp. He ran the ball nice. 21 yards. Xavier Brown, he played, I think it was 34 snaps. We'll look at snap counts next. Fromm likes Cole Adams. Yo, he was returning punts. He's fast. Kevin Riley had 3 carries for 14 yards, and Caleb Odom 2 catches for 23 yards. There were some other freshmen that played, but just those are some guys that stood out to me. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys being here. Rocking the polo today. This is from, see, I don't really like to wear this shirt on the show because it has, I don't know what these are, like kind of checkers, and it kind of clashes with the camera. But if you want a shirt like this, you can go to the Soup Store, the University of Alabama, and that's where I got it. It's like a golfing shirt, basically. I like the old school A. I've been rocking this old logo a lot, so that's kind of the way I've been rocking it. Man, Cole's fast. All right, I'm going to get set up real quick for the Pro Football Focus grades. I'm going to take like a 1-minute commercial break, and I'll be right back here on Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys. Will you roll Tide inside the comment box? All right, Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for joining me on this beautiful Monday, September 2nd. I'm going to take you all the way through to Coach Kalen DeBoer's press conference, which will be at 12 p.m. Central Time, at 11:30 Central Time, right here on Bama Football on YouTube. We'll also show Coach Nick Sheridan, who's the offensive coordinator, and Kane Womack. Those interviews will be right here on Bama Football on YouTube. It'll be interesting to hear what Coach Sheridan has to say about his offense, clearly, and about Womack and about his defense, who posted a shutout in his opener. But you know what was really interesting was before the game, the headset communication malfunction, right? So the way that Coach Kalen DeBoer explained this is that if a headset has a malfunction, the other team, Alabama, has to take their headsets off. That's why he was visibly pissed. My goodness, we haven't seen him pissed off ever. So they had to get Nick Sheridan from the booth. He sits in the booth. That's where most OCs sit. He had to come down elevator. I mean, if you've been to the stadium, it's huge. Takes time. And then after that, you have to call your plays from the sideline. That was really interesting. And I was thinking about it. How many teams are going to have headset malfunctions with like 2 minutes to go? I'm curious to see what college football does in terms of an official figuring out the headset, right? I'm not sure what will happen, but I thought that was interesting. All right, let's look at we'll go full screen on this. All right. So these are the Pro Football Focus grades, and we will do it by defense. So let me kind of walk you through how this works. All right. So let's just start. If you're new to Pro Football Focus, you can sign up for Pro Football Focus. Anybody can sign up. You pay a subscription. And this is, you get analytics to all teams. If you love analytics, go check it out. And it's not that expensive either for the year. So Pro Football Focus is a group of coaches that coached in the NFL, coached in college. They grade the team. They put it to Pro Football Focus, and then we get to check it out. It's analytics. They also have snap counts, which is really cool to see. So let me walk you through the first player just in case this is your first time seeing it. Let's just start with Quay Russo up top. So it has Quay Russo. It has his number, which is 4. Then it has his position, which is edge. In Alabama's system, they call it wolf. Games played, 1. The total is the snap counts. So that's how many snap counts he played in this game. Now, he played in 9 plays against the run and 12 plays against pass rush and 9 plays against coverage, right? That equals 30. Now, where it says DEF, that's his overall defensive grade, which was the highest on the team. I found that when you look to more total of plays, the grade comes out better, right? So like you look at Deontay Lawson, who played 49 plays. It's impressive that he has a grade of 84.5. And as I've mentioned before, anyone who's in the 80, that's more like an A in school. A 70 is like a B. If you scroll over, they have a couple more analytic options like RD, that's run defense, tackling, pass rush grade, coverage. I mean, you can get lost in the grades. For the sake of it and to keep it pretty easy, let's just talk about the defensive grade, and I might point out some different things that I've seen. Or you can ask me questions inside the comment box, whatever. So let's start up top with Quay Russo. He played in 30 snaps, and he had a grade of 86.5. Jaha Campbell, who I gave a game ball to, played in 46 snaps and had a grade of 85.8. If you go a little bit further to the right on Jaha Campbell, you see that he had a tackle grade of 84.2. Deontay Lawson had 49 snaps and 84.5. Now, Jaha Campbell and Deontay Lawson, they combined for a total of 18 tackles in this game. That's very noteworthy. Keon Sabb had a grade of 83.9. His tackling grade was 26.5. Now, I don't know how many tackles, like he was in on. That's clearly a low grade. But if we scroll over, I would imagine that his coverage grade is really high. See, 85.3 on Keon Sabb, clearly, right, with 2 interceptions. Bray Hubbard got some playing time. Now we'll start to look at the snap counts. This is where it gets really interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now organize it by total, which will be snap counts, and we'll do the same thing on defense. So now I've organized it by which players played the most snaps. So Malachi Moore played in the most snaps on the defense. He had 57 snaps, and his grade was 68.5. The more snaps you play, the more you're going to be able to be graded, right? You play, let's say, 2 plays, and you score a touchdown on one of them, I mean, you're going to have a higher grade. It's just how it works. Now, he did have a tackle grade, which is talking about Malachi Moore, 77.4. We've talked about Lawson. We've talked about Campbell, Keon Sabb. A lot of these guys are fresh. Think about a freshman like Xavier Brown. Started 35 snaps, and his defensive grade was 73.9. If we scroll a little bit more, we see his coverage grade was 73.8, which is really good for an opener for a freshman, right? Okay. Justin Jefferson played in 35 snaps. Tim Keenan played in 31. Red Morgan, who's a freshman, played in 30. Quay Russo played in 30, had the highest grade on the team on the defensive side. LT Overton played in 30 snaps, and his grade was 73.3. Do you guys like the snaps? Let me know inside the comment box. It won't be like an everyday thing, but it'll be something that we do chew on for like 15 minutes on the show, probably on Mondays. Just so I love the snap counts. Jalen Mbakwe, another freshman that played in 26 snaps. James Smith played in 26. Jameer Lathan, 26. Tim Smith, 25. Jaheim Otis, 23. Q Rob played in 22. Keon Okote played in 13. King Mack, I mean, you see how many guys got in the game, and I get it. They were up by a lot, but they played a lot of plays. We'll continue to scroll down. Caden Jones, freshman, played in 12. Deshaun Jones, a transfer, played in 12. Working our way down, there's Jahil Hurley. I know a lot of you have asked about him. Justin Okoronkwo, there he is, played in 5 snaps. Drake Kirkpatrick played in 3 snaps. Yanzi Pierre played in just 3. Keon Keeley, it says he played in 3 snaps. So there you go. How often does this change? This changes every single week. And so you'll have an overall look for the season, and then you have game by game. So we're clearly just looking at Western Kentucky. But you'll have like a total snap count. So there'll be a page that, and as the season matures, right? Like, for example, the overall, like Malachi Moore last year, I think played in like over, I don't know, close to 600 snaps or something like that. So you'll get a wide range. And the guys who can maintain a higher grade, who played over like 500 snaps, is really impressive. So on Pro Football Focus, you can also zoom out, and you can go over here and you can look to by offense. And we will zoom in. Get this. And again, I do all this like on the fly, so I try to make it the best user experience watching, so I appreciate you guys. Chris from New Jersey, if you missed it at the beginning of the show, 24/7 Sports is reporting that Caden Proctor will be week to week and that it's not a serious injury. That's all I know, and I'm sure that'll be the first question that is asked to Coach Kalen DeBoer. Following this, I'll take your calls going up to Nick Sheridan at 11:30. So I'll put the call in line up in just a minute. But let's go through these offensive grades. Ryan Williams played in just 19 snaps, has a grade of 87.0. Just incredible. Only 19 snaps. Highest grade on the team. Highest grade on the team. Justice Haynes, limited. Look, he only played 10 snaps. Had over 100 yards, light work, 83.3. Kobe Prentice, 20 snaps, 82.2. Kendrick Law, only 11 snaps, 81.0. That's why the players say that the practices are harder than games. These guys only played 10 snaps. Are you kidding me? Jalen Milroe played in 34 snaps, and he has a grade of 80.0 and a passing grade of 90.5. Now let's sort it. This is interesting, okay? You can sort it by position and by total. What I want to do is sort it by position just to show you the amount of players that played in this game, okay? So, for example, let's go by position and look at wide receiver. Ryan Williams, 19 snaps. Rico Scott, 13 snaps. Caleb Odom, 29 snaps. Jaron Hamilton, just 2. MJ, I don't even know who MJ is, played in 6. And that could have been on special teams, for example, right? You also have Kobe Prentice, who played in 20 at receiver. Jay Loper played in 7. Again, probably special teams guy. Emmanuel Henderson played in 22. Jeremy Bernard played in 35, the most out of any of the wide receivers. And then Kendrick Law just 11. Cole Adams 19, including special teams, right? But here's what I found really, really interesting is the offensive line. So let's look at tackle, and then we'll look at guard. And you know, we'll look at all of them, but just look at the tackle perspective. Nyquil Bentre, 30 snaps. Miles McGray, 30 snaps. Wilcom Formby, 34 snaps. Elijah Pritchard, 34 snaps. You see the quarterbacks right here as well. 13 snaps for Lonergan, 20 for Ty. Ty had a grade of 73.4. Milroe had a grade of 80 and 34 snaps. You look at the running backs as well. 11 snaps, 15 for Daniel Hill. 11 for Richard Young. But look at this. Look at the guard. Let's look at the guard snaps right here, right? 28 for Rock Montgomery. 26 for Olas Allanen. 33 for Booker. 31 for Roberts. Did anyone see that picture of Roberts floating around? And Parker Brailsford 33 at center. And then Joseph Ionita had 30 at center as well. You know who I don't? Oh, Gino Vandermark only had 4, which is surprising. But I guess considering the guards played a good amount, you know, that's kind of where we're at. You like the data? It's cool, right? It's good to see it. I like the snap counts. Now, let me ask you this. Did it seem like more players played in the first game compared to under Coach Saban? To me, it did. It seemed like we had a lot of players in the rotation. I mean, maybe this is just how Coach Kalen DeBoer does it. I don't know. I liked it. I think in this particular season, you're going to need all the players that you can to have experience. I don't know. I mean, it's a different type of season, but I just found that was interesting. All right, I'm going to take your calls in just a minute. I'm going to open up the phone lines probably at 11. Right? It seemed like there was way more players that were playing. All right, what we're looking at now, and I'll zoom in. I know you could barely see probably. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit. This is Jalen Milroe, and you can dive into the analytics a little bit more. So let's start again. All the way to the left, 20 yards downfield. He has a passing grade of 92.9, right? 2 touchdowns, 139 yards. Connected with Ryan Williams twice. Medium, he has a grade of 74.3. He was 1 of 1. And then short, 0 to 9, 3 of 4. And then behind the line of scrimmage, 1 of 2. Now you can go further inside the graphics and see deep left, deep center, deep right. I mean, the analytics are really, really incredible. This is my favorite graphic to go over, though. Is it shows you kind of a snapshot. A real nobody. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate you guys super chatting. It helps. Clearly, there's business costs and running this, and this is how I make a living. So super chats and you guys becoming fan funders, I greatly, greatly appreciate it. To the outside left, he didn't throw a pass. Between the numbers, he was 1 of 1 for 55 yards. That was that drag to Ryan Williams. Out to the outside right, 1 of 1. And then you can see under 10 yards, those are those intermediate passes, right? 1 of 1 to 22. And that was a touchdown right here to the lower left. 1 of 2 for 8 yards. And then under 10 right here. Yeah, we got Mailbag too. I know there was a lot to get to today. I appreciate you guys calling in. I probably run through Mailbag and take calls, so I mean we have time. We got till 11:30, so no sweat. Appreciate you guys being here. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube, cruising through the top 25 scoreboard, game walls, PFF grades, freshman report, the Mailbag. We can probably dive into the Mailbag real quick. Just kind of hit on a couple of these topics, and then I'll take some calls. On Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys being here. A lot goes into the graphics and the kind of the behind the scenes, and I appreciate you guys. At 11:30, you got Nick Sheridan and Kane Womack, and then at 12 p.m. you got Coach Kalen DeBoer. You can watch that right here on Bama Football on YouTube, and I appreciate you guys for rocking with me right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Coming from the Mailbag, which I appreciate, I dropped this in the community tab. Will Proctor be ready for South Florida, or will he return against the Badgers? This is coming from Sweet Home and Hattie. Look, the update from 24/7 Sports right now is that it's a week-to-week injury. If you're like new, if you're just watching the show, you're like, what? Caden Proctor didn't play. He got injured in the warm-ups. Strange things happen. It looks like it's a week-to-week. It's an upper body injury. We'll know more from Coach Kalen DeBoer maybe at 12 p.m. I have no idea. It was very strange. Not a lot of players get hurt in warm-ups, but, things happen, whatever. All right, this is coming in as well. Why did Brailsford snap the ball over Milroe's head? Was it a fluke thing, or do you see this being a problem all season? This came from Roll Tide Probs and DeChamp. I think it was probably it could have been first game jitters. It could have been a snap. He snapped it, didn't. There could have been some miscommunication. I thought overall that Parker Brailsford did a really good job. Let me ask you inside the comment box. I mean, what did you think about the snapping from the center? I know it's like such a mundane thing to talk about, but here at Alabama, we take that serious considering what happened last year. I think it was kind of just a fluke thing. I'm not worried about it. I think Parker Brailsford, he's quality. And we'll get to see more of him as we go forward, clearly. But I don't think it was too big of an issue. All right, Chris Millman became a level 1 fan funder. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Nice avatar. Looks like you got a new baby, too. Congratulations to you. Also from the Mailbag, How good will we be on defense? We look good on Saturday, but that was just Western Kentucky. That's coming from Peyton. Thank you so much, Peyton. I think when you look to the defense, I don't necessarily look at Western Kentucky. I look at the team speed. I look at where they in position to make plays. Yeah, Keon Sabb clearly was. Who are some guys that really jumped out? Quay Russo, right? The inside linebackers were it. How about the play of Tim Keenan and Jaheim Otis and James Smith and LT Overton? Oh, man. I was really blown away. Clearly, LT did his thing, but did you see Jaheim Otis move around and Tim Keenan? Each of those guys have gone through significant body changes. They looked fast. Jaheim Otis, I'm serious. When you do your rewatch, he was really, really fast. All right, we continue on the mailbag. How good is the offensive line? Actually, I don't know. I think you saw the amount of guys that played in the offensive line. I don't know. This is a damn good question. I don't think we can understand this. I mean, Proctor didn't play, a bunch of rotation, still at the right tackle position. Wilcom Formby had the highest grade. Chris is saying reports on the news said it was just miscommunication between Brailsford and Milroe. Yeah, I'm not worried about that one. I don't know how good the offensive line is. Alabama has the guys, but it's just too early to tell. 1,000,000%. All right, I'll go full screen on this one. This one looks a little. It's my bad. Did we see an improvement in Milroe's short game? He didn't throw a lot of passes. We know he can throw it deep, but only completing 7 is concerning. I was glad to see him being more decisive, but wanting to see him move the chains more. That's coming from Zeus Deuce. I think Jalen Milroe has clearly improved. And I think we saw that improvement in the springtime. I think the limited reps of him throwing, it's not that big of a deal. That doesn't concern me. I mean, they couldn't sustain drives because this team is so explosive. I know, elite program problems. What are you going to, you can't tell Jalen, you can't tell Justice Haynes to stop and go out of bounds. You can't tell Ryan Williams to catch it and run out of bounds. Elite players are going to be elite. We're going to see more of Jalen Milroe in bigger games when they are tested, and they will be tested. I think that, he's in really good position. The report on Caden Proctor, maybe I should put a banner on the bottom. That would probably help. What's up, Jay Bama? Is that Caden Proctor, it's week to week, and that's first being reported by 24/7. Alex Scarborough does a really good job. You'd probably follow him on your X account or whatever. He was injured in the pregame, but that's kind of the update. Appreciate the question as well. All right. We'll cruise through the mailbag. A couple more questions. Is there any reason Sabb didn't play much? No. Sabb played. I mean, he played over 30 snaps. So maybe you just didn't see him. He's number 3 on the defense. So a real nobody. Hey, and I see the super chats as well. But yeah, Keon Sabb played plenty. I think over 30 snaps, and he had those 2 interceptions as well. And that's the thing, Jarvis, as well. When you look to the defense, to be able to have a shutout, regardless of who you're playing in this day and age of football, I mean, TJ Finley threw for 3,400 yards last year. Now, I started to notice early in the week he was going to struggle against Alabama, but still, I mean, having a goose egg in week 1 is amazing. This is one of the biggest questions. Where is Keon Keeley? So he played in 3 snaps, as we just saw from the Pro Football Focus grades. I don't know. I think it's just probably right now depth, and he's just, where he is on the depth chart. Clearly, it's not a talent thing. And you look at the bandit position guys that played. I mean, Jamarian Latham, LT Overton, he had a really good game. So I think it's just kind of a matter of, we're going, same thing with Yanze Pierre. He didn't play much either. I think he had 4 plays. So you combine Yanze Pierre, a player of his talent, and Keon Keeley. I mean, these guys are just redshirt freshmen. I think it just might be more of just wait for these guys to get on the field rather than rush them. So I know it's on my mind too. I was looking for him. He was one of the players that I couldn't wait to see. And I think we'll just have to be a little bit more patient on Keon Keeley, who has now moved from that wolf position, outside linebacker, to bandit where he's down in the front. Did it seem like the O line, a few series, to get used to the zone blocking? Once they did, they seemed to click. What's up, 4-3-22, Dave? The offensive line, it was interesting to see them in different combinations on the offense. I thought they did a really good job in pass pro. There was several times where Jalen Milroe or even Ty Simpson stepped up and had plenty of time to throw. You saw how many offensive linemen played. In zone blocking schemes, I thought they did a really good job as well. I mean, they opened up some really good holes for the running backs. The thing I don't know about is how good they are going to be, because there was just so many guys that played. And just like Jay Bama said, they're platooning a lot. Yeah, and Tuna, we talked about Quay earlier. He got a game ball for us. He actually had the highest grade on the defense in only 30 snaps. He completely balled out. Man, he's so good. He's so talented. All right, we'll run through a few more. What did you see from the defense that could potentially be a problem? I don't know. I mean, look, I get it. It's Western Kentucky. But I don't know. The defense looked good. They looked, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure, if you talk to Coach Kane Womack, there's probably something that he could point out. I mean, if you go to the offensive side, I guess you could see, the penalties where they have like 7 penalties or something like that. I don't know. The defense looked good. They got to the quarterback. They tackled well. They made plays. They created turnovers. They didn't get beat deep. I mean, they kind of played flawless on defense. I'm sure there's a couple of things that the defense needs to work on. I don't know. And not to say that they're not going to be tested, against, Georgia. They have a very good quarterback. Carson Beck is balled out. I don't know. they looked great. All right. So I'm going to open up the call-in line for you guys to call in. And then what we'll do is at 11:30, we will take your calls. At 11:30, we'll have Coach Nick Sheridan and Kane Womack right here on Bama Football on YouTube. And then we'll go into Coach Kalen DeBoer. So the call-in line is open. We got an 832. It looks like we got free Mike calling in. So we'll take that right now. Hey, thanks for calling in. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. We got free Mike up in the house. Man, what did you think about this Alabama team that had a dominating debut under DeBoer?
Kyle, what I saw was the dynasty continues. Mm-hmm. That's what I saw. I mean, that was such a fast-paced, overwhelming football team we have that I know it was Western Kentucky we played, but we could have beat anybody yesterday, and that includes Georgia or Saturday. That could include Georgia, but definitely the dynasty continues, Kyle, and it's a really fast-paced offense. I love it, man.
What do you think? Are you in agreement that we had a fast defense? It seemed like, I don't know, they seemed much faster on the defensive side of the ball. I commented earlier that I think it was Cole Kublick or someone out there had kind of spot shadowed Jahad Campbell running to the sideline. Did you notice the team speed on defense?
Yes, I did, Kyle. That's one of the first things that stood out. And the first thing that came to my mind is, well, we got an awesome defense. I can see that. It was definitely a swarm defense. The defense was all over the field. And with the talent, the talent that's already there, just the great players, we got an excellent defense. I think Western Kentucky scored 0 points, and 150 total yards, Kyle. Yeah. And Western Kentucky had the ball most of the time. Then because Bama's offense was on and off the field, Western Kentucky sat on the ball. They still couldn't do nothing. Definitely we got a superior defense. Swarm, absolutely. I was very impressed with the defense, absolutely.
Was there Jalen Milroe in light work, he did what he had to do. What were your thoughts on Jalen Milroe and anything else on Ty Simpson, the backup quarterback as well?
Ty Simpson's a good, capable backup quarterback. I hope he gets his time to play. But Jalen Milroe killed it, man. He killed it. He did 9 passes, completed 7 of them for 200 yards.
Yeah.
And on top of all the running game that he did, and also just, early on there was some confusion with the headsets, whether they really went down or Western Kentucky just refused to use theirs and made Alabama take that off. I don't know, but there was confusion early on. Bama regrouped. They put points on the board right away. But Jalen Milroe had a great game, and he killed it. But I do think it's a new day for Jalen Milroe just because of the new coaching staff that we have. But yeah, he had a great game. Very impressed with Jalen Milroe. But also to follow up on something you said earlier, Kyle, in my opinion, the game ball goes to Ryan Williams. It's got to go to Ryan Williams. I mean, how much better does it get? You got 2 targets, 2 catches, 2 touchdowns, 120 yards. We've all heard all about Ryan Williams, but now that I see him in action, he absolutely is our new superstar, no doubt about it. But a good thing about him is this: when you have a player like that on your wide receiver core, that player that good, it opens up the whole offense. It opens up opportunities for all the other wide receivers and stuff. When you got somebody that good, but there can be a lot of game balls to go around. But game ball number one's got to go to Ryan Williams. First game, first 2 catches or touchdowns. It gets no better than that. So, but in my opinion, Kyle, the whole offense can get a game ball, including our coach for kind of getting it going after that initial confusion. So, but definitely the dynasty continues on the whole team, man. But impressed with Milroe. Milroe gets a game ball too, dude. He killed it. So I'm definitely. And Justice Haynes. Like Kyle, I've been saying all year, Justin Haynes for Heisman, and it's possible. I mean, it's from this point, he had 10, like you mentioned, 10 carries, 100 yards, 10 yards a carry. Them are Heisman numbers. So we'll see how that plays out.
Thanks for calling, man. I appreciate you leading off the show. That's Mike from Austin, man. Thanks for calling in. We will go roll tide to you, man. All right, we'll go to 850 calling in right now. Hey, good morning. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle. Roll tide. Cody from Florida.
Cody, what's up, man? I appreciate you being here, man. Your takeaways as we play Monday morning quarterback on Alabama, now 1-0 on the season, turning the page to South Florida. Welcome to the show, man. Take it away.
I am really happy with the defense. They have showed out and balled out. Milroe did a good job. Ryan Williams, oh, my God, nobody can catch him. Even he went past that cornerback like it was nothing. I'm like, oh, my gosh, Ryan Williams is going to be a big star. I can really see him fit the NFL draft in multiple organizations. But, like, Jalen Milroe did good. Justice Haynes can run the ball. Jan Miller can run the ball. What I was saying was Keon Sabb. He's going to get a lot of interceptions this year if Tim Keenan and Rusall and everyone else puts pressure on, like, Carson Beck and everybody else. Because I still think right now, because of LSU who lost that game, that there's a lot of weakness with LSU right now. And so that's an easy exploit for Alabama to beat LSU for this year.
The quick strikeability of this team was really, really impressive to me. I felt, even after the game, Coach Kelly DeBoer was asked, would he like to see more sustaining drives? I couldn't believe how fast they were scoring touchdowns. And I get it. It's Western Kentucky.
Yeah,
but when you look to the overall –
right.
I mean, I think their longest scoring drive was 4 minutes and 10 seconds. I think long-term, when you look to the teams that could potentially, play with Alabama, go head-to-head, they have to be able to outscore them. But what they were able to display – the quick strike ability was really, really impressive. What did you think about those drives and the explosiveness from Alabama's offense?
They just tore the house down.
Yeah.
You could see how the fans are really, like, just up on their feet, blowing the house down. Like, we put on a show. It's like prime time, buddy.
Yep.
That is a prime time game. It wasn't the Georgia Clemson game. It was Alabama just saying, we're here, the dynasty's back, let's play ball. Because this isn't Alabama. We're trying to prove all these Alabama haters wrong. This is Alabama, this is the dynasty, and it's back on. it's game on, and it's put up or shut up time.
That's right.
For most of you.
Hey, Cody, before I get to my next caller, can you mention a player on defense that stood out to you?
Keon Sabb.
Mm-hmm.
I think Keon Sabb is, because both if you have two cornerbacks on the lockdown, you're going to get interceptions because mostly of Jaheim Otis and and Keenan and everyone. If they put pressure on the quarterback, it's easy interception for Malachi Moore and Keon Sabb.
Hey, thanks for calling in.
I was watching your stream.
Go ahead, Cody.
I was watching your stream and literally watching the game at the same time, and I love just stream. So roll Tide.
All right, roll Tide too, man. I appreciate the support, and we'll catch up with you next time, Cody.
All right.
All right, that's my good buddy Cody calling in. By the way, just in, Keon Sabb named SEC Defensive Player in the Week, and surprise, surprise, the SEC Freshman of the Week is Ryan Williams. So how about that? Big kudos to those guys for playing at an exceptional level. That just in, and we're still waiting. At 11:30, you'll get Nick Sheridan, followed by Kane Womack, and then Coach Kalen DeBoer at 12. Still looking for a status update on Caden Proctor, who was injured before the game. CBS 24/7 is reporting it's week to week at this point in time. 786, let's do it. Hey, what's going on? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
What's going on, Kyle? It's Chad from Miami.
Chad, what's up, man? I appreciate you being here. Thank you very much for joining us on this beautiful Monday, man. Come with it, Chad.
My first point is that I love the other play. A lot of the players got to play. I know Saban like to keep freshmen and sophomores on the bench, so a lot of guys got to play in the game on Saturday, and they got experience. And with that keeps a lot of players from transferring. I know a lot of players left Bama last season and went to Texas, FSU, so on and so forth, or whatever. So I love that the guys are gaining experience, and on top of that, especially when it comes to injuries coming up in the season or whatever, they have in-game experience. And we need the young guys to also play to reinvigorate Bama since Saban is gone, and since the team is young, so they need experience going down such a treacherous schedule with the playoffs and the longer schedule now. I thought that offense did great, man. There were a few mishaps, like the sack and the penalties, but I believe the team just got to be a little more disciplined. And then on top of that, pretty much they're just working out at kinks, man. That's the first game of the season. I understand a lot of people are excited, but I believe it's a journey. This is just the first step in the journey. There are a lot of standout players, Ryan Williams, so on and so forth. I believe they did really well. My only gripe, I believe, is like I said, the penalties, and then on defense, I believe that we got to develop a pass rush. I see that we ran a lot of 3 defensive linemen and 1 linebacker run, and I didn't really like that. I believe we should always keep 2 pass rushers on the field at the same time. Usually you saw like Russo or you saw Q Rob out there. They were like the only pass rushers. It was kind of like last season. Basically, with Kevin Steele, he would run 3 D linemen and keep one edge rusher on the field. I believe we should always keep 2 edge rushers on the field at all time to pressure the quarterback. Besides that, I think we did really well. I think that's the only adjustment we need to make because I think we had 1 sack and we didn't really do much in terms of pressuring the quarterback. But besides that, I believe like the linebackers and secondary played very well. And our guys just pretty much need experience coming up on Georgia and the other teams we're going to be playing in the SEC and in the playoffs.
Well, I appreciate you calling in, Chad. I'm running through calls this morning, so I'm going to get some people in. But I appreciate the feedback, and I'll answer you on the other line, man. Thanks for rolling in from Miami, man.
All right, thanks. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide to you. I like that point from Chad, talking about the pass rush, because I did notice that too. I felt at times you are running 3 defensive linemen and, the wolf position player, but I'm curious to see what they do in the future and how you get pass rush from your inside linebackers as well, because Kane Womack said that they did that during the scrimmage. I didn't see too much of that in this particular game. Maybe I missed it, but I appreciate the call in from Miami. The defense – and I'm glad Chad brought that up because someone asked me earlier, how good is the defense going to be? Damn, I would say, let me ask you, Undefeated, type Y for yes or type N for no. Did they play better in this game than you anticipated to? I think that's easy. I think it's yes. I was concerned about the corners. I didn't hear from Damani Jackson, Davian Brown. You saw Red Morgan come in. Devontae Smith, Malachi Moore. I mean, I think they played a lot better than I anticipated them to. 100%. Usually it takes the defense a little bit of time. I don't know who played better, the offense or the defense. Seriously, I don't know. We go back to the phone lines, and thanks, Chad, for the call, man. Next time, when I have a little bit more time, we can go back and forth, man. But thanks for the call. I really appreciate the dialogue. 601, you're up next. Hey, welcome on in. You're on with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
It's Jay from Pensacola.
What's up, Jay? I appreciate you calling in. Thank you very much for saying you're from Pensacola. We're never going to take you from Texas. We can't have that. Jay, as we kind of dive into what we learned and play Monday Morning Quarterback, what were your biggest takeaways after watching the game?
Offense is very explosive, and defense is going to be. I said defense is going to build. Is going to get better. I am not saying defense is bad. Defense is going to get better. I'm glad they were able to serve a lot of people out in order for people to get recognition. I'm glad they did that. I would say the offense scored so fast. Me and wife was watching the game. I felt bad for the defense because the defense just got off the field after running 21 plays, and the offense went out there and scored within 2 plays. I'm like, the defense got to go right back on the field. That was funny. And I think Q Robinson on defense, I think he did pretty good as far as defense goes. And of course, Keon Sabb is amazing. I have one more opinion. Then I'm gonna let you go. You're running through calls. I feel like Ryan Williams could be the next Jalen Waddle or Jameson Williams as far as speed goes.
Mm-hmm.
As far as speed goes, I feel like he could be the next Jalen Waddle or Jameson Williams.
I appreciate you, Jay. Thanks for calling, man, and we'll catch up on my next show, man. Thanks so much for the support. Roll Tide. That's Jay from Pensacola. He used to say, because he moved to Texas, and he said that Jay from Texas, but no. We have Mike from Austin. There's enough Texas. I want to stay more in the Southeast. Chris from New Jersey, you're up next, man. Let me ask you a question, Undefeated. Who did Ryan Williams, who is he comparable to? And then what did you think about Kendrick Law? He had a couple of plays there where you're like, finally they're feeding him, right? You give it to him one time and he runs for 22 yards for a touchdown. Chris is saying, all right, Chris, let's go to the phone lines. We're in a few minutes. As soon as they happen, we'll cut and we'll go to Nick Sheridan. But we have some time. So if I don't get to you, that's because we're going to the press conference. But we'll take Chris from New Jersey. Chris, what's up, man? I appreciate you being here. You're thinking Julio Jones?
Oh, yeah. Kyle, first let's say it's great that Mike got out. He must have gotten out because he is see that call? Clear-minded.
Yep.
On the offense. He's so everybody wish Mike well and his new endeavor being out in the free America, which is great. And I wanted to mention to you, I was so pumped up on Saturday night, but you were saying you think Saban can relax and sit back and not no way, Kyle.
Yeah.
Did you? Everybody go back and watch some of College Game Day. He refers to Alabama as us, we. Mm-hmm. They beat us. When he watched the game film like 3 or 4 times, took notes, and then sent down a packet to DeBoer, guaranteed. You think we're giving him $500,000 for nothing?
You know what I liked about College Game Day and how they've embraced this is even on the College Game Day bus, they've rewrapped it, right? And they have him in his crimson blazer. You know what? This is who he is. He's still Alabama. I love it that they haven't tried to take that away from him. And that just shows this is who he is. The Verbo commercial. I mean, I've played that a bunch of times.
So good. It's a rule. No fun. So, Kyle, and I just want to say, obviously, we all love Saban. We're so happy for DeBoer. But did you see? I mean, you could see the way Terry and Arnold and Kool-Aid up in that box.
Oh, yeah.
They love Saban. They don't like Saban. They don't like Saban's family. They love Saban. They love Miss Terry. They love their family, and that's why he won national championships, because the players loved him. And I got to tell you something. I am not jumping the gun. Take it easy, undefeated. But I think DeBoer is got that kind of quality. Did you see the way in that one show, the way that Sheridan talks about DeBoer? It's like that's like a love fest. He loves working for DeBoer. He thinks he's not only a great coach, but a family man. I mean, and that's what's going to drive this program into the future. And so I'm excited. I'm all worked up. But Julio Jones. I want to let you know, on the day that he signed, I said that to you, Kyle. Ryan Julio Williams.
Yeah, it was. It's something to see. I'm kind of thinking a comparison is like, for me, I really haven't even seen him run that many routes. I'm kind of thinking like a blend of Jerry Jeudy and Devontae Smith. That's who I'm thinking. But
like that too.
Right?
Like that.
It's like if they,
Right.
So, but anyways, anything else, Chris?
One last thing, and I haven't done it in a long time. I
Okay.
haven't gone to negative town. But is Brian Kelly a putt, Kyle, or what? Is he slamming his hands down? Oh, my God. I mean, the season's on, so we got to have to keep it real over here, Kyle.
So I was,
come on,
I
man.
uploaded that video. And I called T, and I'm like, yo, I'm going to upload this video. And she's like, title it Brian Kelly throws temper tantrum. I'd be laughing. Look, I get it. It's a competitive spirit. You want to win the game. But, I mean, you got to be able to win these openers if you want people to take you, if you really want your team to go to the next level. Now, look, I will say this. LSU, he's got a really good team this year. The quarterback did a really good job. USC is a great team, too. I enjoyed every minute of that game. It kind of looked like almost like preview of playoff football. But, pouting big time, slamming the table.
USC, that's the first time they played defense in a decade.
100,000,000%. Yes, they play defense. They have a defense. I don't know. I mean, if they can continue to do that, they could make a run for the Big Ten 1,000,000%.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Kyle, real fast, the last thing is, have you seen that Heisman house with Reggie Bush, with like he's in the cryo and he's been like, because he's been on ice? I saw the new great commercial.
I saw the new Dr. Pepper commercial, which I really liked. Because
the Quinn Ewers,
the Quinn comes back, but the best part was, they're like talking about sign stealing and this and that. Where hey, callers, hang up. I'm gonna go to Nick Sheridan. You guys can call back another time. If I didn't get you in, I apologize.